Hey everybody, how's it going? Good morning, good morning. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that Chart Raiders trailer. It's a lot of hard work over a long time to get that thing ready and cooked up. But here we are years later, and Chart Raiders is about to release this year. It's very exciting. So I wanted to do an AMA to answer questions, because I know there's going to be a lot of questions about that trailer. I know there's going to be tons of moments in there where people can pause and check for different like little Easter eggs and nuggets of information. I'm sure people are like scanning that trailer right now. So yeah, wanted to come here for 10 or 15 minutes and open up some dialogue. Maybe we'll stay longer, who knows, but just open up some dialogue about what that looks like going forward. And yeah, hello, I saw peak meter. How does it work? Is it meaningful? Can you fake your trades or predict someone's spy on you? You absolutely could. Yeah, you absolutely can. So we can go to the trailer as a team here, and we can look at the launch trailer as we talk about things. So I'll tell you guys a timestamp. We go to that part of the trailer, and then we can take a look. Some background noise. So if we go to, and I'm going to scroll through here, the peak meter. So this is at 59 seconds I'm at. So the peak meter, you can see there's 3 people to pick from. So the peak meter is always going to be first place, second place, third place. And then you there's a potential to have items to modify those placements. So if you wanted to have more people that you could peak on, or be able to change the people you peak on, there's definitely items coming out that would allow you to say, hey, instead of first, second, third, maybe I want to see the 3 closest people to me, the next 3 places. So then somebody could change their trading strategy to be hunting spots to be hunting the next rank up. So like, say if you are ranked 15th in a match and you wanted it to be the next 3 people, or the person below you and maybe 2 above, or 2 below and 1 above. So you could change your strategy around that peak meter given certain items to say, hey, I'm in 13th or 11th or 12th, or let's just say 15th. I'm in 15th right now, but my goal is to my strategy for playing this match and all matches is to just climb to the next rank constantly. So your strategy becomes get your placement soon. Maybe in the first 5 or 10 minutes of the match, you can get rank 8th. And your strategy could be like, okay, how do I hunt rank 7th? How do I hunt rank 6th and 5th? Or you could leave it as first, second, third and say like, okay, what are those players doing so well? And how can I kind of copy their levels and their trades? So it's really important that Chart Raiders had non-destructive interaction. And what I mean by that is we can never create interactions that actually harm your trading experience from a POV. So from a point of view, or the point of view of that player, it could never be something that was harmful. So you couldn't have somebody come and disjoint your trades. Because if you trade perfectly and you're first place all match, you should be rewarded for that. So this is a non-destructive feature of Chart Raiders where you can pick first, second, or third. And we're at 59 seconds right now. And on your screen, you should just see something that says peak meter. We're looking at first, second, third. You click first place. I'm going to hit play here. Oh, 59 seconds was too long. Actually, we need to go to 57 seconds because we go through this stuff fast. And then it's just, there we go. So we're at 104 now. So we're at 1 minute and 4 seconds right now. So then you can see when you click that first place player, their levels and their chart come up on your screen. So you have access to their intel. Now, this is so cool because if you're a brand new trader and you want to learn, you could be like, oh, cool, look at this. I have not that much experience with trading, but look at what first, second, and third place does. Oh, cool. This is really great for me because now as a brand new trader, I can use their information to learn what top traders are doing in that match. If I'm an experienced trader, I can use this as a meta tool, as an in-game tool to say, oh, they're taking the 15-minute level. Let me maybe take the 5, get an advantage on them. Maybe you're in 4th place and you're trying to get first and you see first place because it's all really close. You see first place takes the 15-minute level because you're using your peak meter to see where they're trading. And that's the downfall of being in first, second, third. Yeah, you're front of the pack, but everybody's watching. So now you can see, hey, they took a 15. I could actually edge first place out. Maybe I can even get second, or maybe I can even get first if the match is really close by taking a level a little greedier than them. So it kind of introduces this like little element of risk there. Like, are you going to miss the trade, or are you going to slightly edge them out? Because you have the intelligence, you have the intel on those traders to see, hey, cool, look at this. That's what they're trading. Awesome. And then again, for brand new traders or for people who are learning, you can now have the ability to almost treat them like a coach in matches. Like you can go and take it slow, and maybe you buy a $10 ticket and these are your practice matches, or you even go and we'll have a practice mode in the future, and you even go into practice mode. But I think practice mode is kind of it defeats that a little bit, just for the simple fact that in a practice mode environment, I don't think people are taking it seriously. So you take a $10 ticket and you're kind of trying to learn how to trade, and you're constantly seeing what first place does, second place, third place. And then you can be like, oh, well, why did they take that level? Okay, so that's why they're taking that level. How accurate were they? Oh, they're really accurate. And then it can allow you to go back and review and study. So there's a lot of really interesting implications around the peak meter. Being that it's a non-destructive intelligence feature only, there's a lot of really cool nuances between trying to climb the ranks, between verifying your own trades, between coaching and learning, between using it as an in-game meta tool. And there's just so many like little nuanced interactions that I absolutely love this thing. So we're at 104. I'm going to press play here. Yeah, that's it. You can actually switch between second place, third place, fourth place. And maybe I can even bring up a demo of a longer version in a different video. I'll make a video about the peak meter, and I'll bring up a demo of cycling through first, second, and third. And then actually, if we go and we look at that too, that's what your green bar there is. So you see the green bar under the name of the characters. That's their peak meter. So as you are holding down peak meter, you get about 10 seconds of this. Now you can get 15 or 20 or 30 seconds different ways through bonuses in match or through your equipment that you have equipped. Maybe you want to build your entire character around peak meter because this is your playstyle, and you've built your character to have bonuses for peaking other players. So we can have items that say, if you enter a trade with 0 peak meter left, get a bonus 10% profits. Or if you exit a trade with full peak meter, so you're rewarded for not using it. And so with some items, if you exit a trade with full peak meter, your entire team gets a bonus 5% profits and things like that, right? And then something really interesting is if you look in the bottom right corner at the 103 timestamp, you can see the prize bag. So this is a $1,000 match, and there's a $49,000 prize pool. And you would ask yourself, why isn't it an even number? Well, that's because you can actually claim percentages of the prize bag in the match. So as you fill your action bar, and we'll talk about action bar after, as you fill your action bar, there can be different points where it's like, oh, you just got awarded 1% of the prize bag. So you could finish dead last and still make a killing, right? So it's like really interesting. There's all these little nuances around like peak meter and how to use it and how you can kind of strategize. This is all about strategizing how you can become a better trader, right? So peak meter is a really, really neat feature. And as you're holding your button down, you're draining your bar. And as the match goes, it refreshes. So it can refresh based on how many trades you take. It can refresh based just time. It has a cooldown, right? And it gradually goes up. So you maybe start with 10 seconds, maybe you have 20 seconds, maybe you've equipped items that give you 25 seconds. And it might be your strategy is to constantly use intelligence to look at other players. But it does refill through the match. So if you had 10 seconds, it might take 5 minutes for it to refill. Or you could hit bonuses or have certain items that trigger certain percentages of it to refill. I'm going to go back to chat now. So let's take a look at chat. Trade delay was interesting. Sounds amazing. Can you explain it more? Yep. Hopefully that was a good explanation, Hader. And I'm going to go to open chat and just look at the open chat comments here real quick. Because those ones are going to be shorter because most people are using the in lobby voice chat to do it. Hi Cotton, what will the entry fee be used for? That's for the prize pool. So like if you have 100 players and the entry fee is $10, there's a $1,000 prize bag. So we put 100% of that entry fee back into matches. So you have 100 players per match, Lindsay, you have 100 players per match. Each player buys in for $10. That means there's a $1,000 prize pool to be distributed between the players. So first place would make $300, 30% or so, or 31% would be $310. You buy in for $10, you leave with $310 if you finish first, kind of thing. So that entry fee is all used to generate the match profit. So everybody's pooling their money together, and that 100% of that money is used for the redistribution towards the prize pool. How will the swing and position character attributes work if the matches are only 1 hour? Good question, Tick. That's very interesting. Site is up for pre-order. It is up for pre-order. I really like that as a way of learning. I think there's a lot of really cool ways that this can interact with trading. Being able to peek on other people's charts while also being non-destructive doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't take away from the player who's at the top. It can be a teaching tool. Like there's so many nuances to that. We also have a spectator mode that, because we've built this for esports. So when you log on the ChartRater software, we actually have a spectators mode. So you can have spectator mode and peak meter and be just chilling, watching. You can be sitting on Twitch in spectator mode, cycle through matches like you're cycling through Counter-Strike matches, watch and commentate on matches. Hey, maybe you don't want to trade in that exact moment. Maybe you're just chilling out. Maybe you're on stream. Maybe you're on Twitch and you're just like, you know what? I want to chill out, watch Bitcoin for an hour and just watch matches and commentate on them. So now we've opened the doors for commentary. So anybody can just launch their app, instantly be put into spectator mode, cycle through any single player, any match they want. While we've also taken into the fact collusion and not being able to cheat by using this feature. So we've got that covered as well. Now you can just kind of sit there, chill out, learn, talk about it, spectate matches. You could build, hell, you could build a whole streaming channel around just chart raters matches, almost like an esports kind of thing. And in the future, we will have esports. So this is something we fully plan to roll out. But now all of a sudden, you could just be making your own career completely off of spectating, because you can sit there and you can just spectate matches, commentate on them for an audience, watch 5-6 matches in a row. You're not only are you teaching your audience, you're teaching yourself, and it's entertaining and beneficial. The pre-order benefits are all listed on the pre-order page. You can go check it out. Can you say a little bit more about Raid Engine? Let me catch up on, okay, yeah, I will. Well, Raid Engine is our back-end engine that we use to create all of this, because our charts are very different. Our candlesticks are pixel to pixel. They're not chunky and blocky like you see almost on TradingView or these exchanges, Binance. They almost fill in like a 5 pixel high by 20 pixel wide box every time there's a movement on the charts. We have a true 1-to-1 pixel up and down, so it feels a little more modern. So things like that are all part of Raid Engine. The ability to have chart peaking, that's all a part of Raid Engine. The ability to have trade delay is all a part of Raid Engine. Like all those gamified elements and everything, that's the engine that's built. Almost think of like Unreal Engine, like Unreal 5, or one of the other gaming engines like Unity or something like that. Like our Raid Engine is something that we will continue to build and spend millions and millions of dollars on through the years to come, to keep innovating and keep building features that allow us to have better charting, spectator mode, be able to spectate matches, peeking on people, trade delay, item interaction inside games, bonuses, multipliers, things like that aren't possible on web apps, on exchanges. We've now opened the door for a modern way to day trade, because we've now opened the door to be able to have not only the graphics, so the user interface and the UI and the UIX, but we've also opened it up graphic wise as well as latency, because we host all the matches. So there has to be a large consideration for anti-cheat. There has to be a large consideration for latency. There has to be a consideration for matchmaking. There's all these different considerations. And when you look at the architecture of a software from a top-down look, you can see how big it gets. This is where Raid Engine is so important, because we're not building candlesticks that just relay data on a screen. And that's really critical. Candlesticks that relay data on a screen is what you see on like TradingView. We have tools and ways that we can actually change a user's trading experience the way we find that it balances well on things like peak meter, on things like trade delay. Trade delay is another cool feature where you can avoid a bad loss. Do that on an exchange. Once an order is placed on the books, it's placed on the books. With Raid Engine, we're allowed to give people things like trade delay, where if you want to avoid a bad loss, you have a certain amount of trade delay you can use. So if you want to catch a knife on a crazy level and all of a sudden that's not going your way, activate your trade delay. You have 5 or 10 seconds to make a decision. If you're down 40% and you activated trade delay, you have 1 second left. Execute your trade delay, bang. It's as if that trade never existed. And that's a very, very valuable resource, that trade delay, right? So that's a very valuable resource, because not only can it be a take profit resource, it can be a avoid liquidation resource, right? And so when you start looking at things like that, this is where Raid Engine will kill everything else in the industry, because we can do things that nobody else can, and we can redefine the way people are day trading with stuff like this. I like the Pirateer access. Yep. It's good tier. The raid fragment makes all pre-orders same as buying crates, but it's cheaper with more benefits and title of early access. Absolutely. And that was important to reward people with that. How long is pre-order going to be available? Until it's sold out. It could be gone today. It could be up until it's released, until it's sold out. But we have limited capability to start, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be rolling out tests soon. We have our first downloadable software kit coming on Monday. And then we're going to be rolling out testers to join games and matches and to start building use cases and do balance patches and stuff like that and give people that early advantage. And that's super important because when this launches on day one, it's going to be activated with real money, and people are going to be trading and grinding. And for those who get in early and for those who start practicing, they're going to clean house. They're just straight up going to clean house because they understand the mechanics. They're going to go on day one and they're going to be getting first, second, third, fourth place. It's going to be insane. So for those people who get the early hands on this thing, it's going to have large financial implications on them. Good or bad, don't know. Trade responsibly. That's up to everybody independently. But I do know that when you have that kind of advantage and you understand systems, you kind of all of a sudden have a very big advantage. You know what I mean? So how much are abilities and equipables influencing your power? Lots. Let's go take a look at the trailer again. Let's go take a look at the equipment part of this trailer. So if we go to 51 seconds, and you know what I can do? I can do a screen share as well. I'm going to just share my screen here. And that way we can look at the Discord and watch this together, right? So if we actually go and look at this, we can gain a lot of information on, we can gain a lot of information from this screen. So you can see that there's different classes you can pick. For example, scalp, swing, and position. The swing class has a plus 10% trade delay. So small differences allow you to see, you pick your class, right? And you get these kind of differences. So I'll make a full video on that. And you can see this person has a 6-second peak meter. The second player has a 15.2-second trade delay. Sorry, not the second player, but the second attribute. The action bar, they have minus 20% action bar, max multiplier 3, max trade elixir 1. You can see some of the active bonuses on the right. So this player, because of how they have their equipment equipped, which is your sunglasses, this player, peak meter fills 20% faster. Sometimes get plus 20% peak meter, plus 10% when you enter a trade with full peak meter. So you get a plus 10% profit there. That should be clarified to say plus 10% profits when you enter a trade with full peak meter. So this player has started to equip their entire character to be built around the peak meter, right? You have a little wheel here, and actually this wheel, the peak meter should be higher and these should be lower. But again, this is just for screenshot purposes here. Plus 2% for each successful trade you take at a maximum 30%. So throughout the match, if they take 5 trades, all of a sudden every trade has 10% bonus. One of their equipment bonuses, right? Minus 20% trade delay requirements, and action bar fills 20% faster. So this is kind of the interaction where you equip different pieces and different items, and you can see your sunglasses components here. And this, I put a lot of consideration into this, not only for the lore of the Chart Raiders universe, but also for how do you create a piece of equipment that a day trader would use? Like, let's really think about that for a second. What do you do? Do you put a keyboard in a backpack like it's some skateboarding you're a teenager? Like, no, that's not realistic. Like, how can you have, like, a day trader's job is purely visual and intellectual. So for that reason, we use sunglasses. And it also ties into the lore in a very interesting way. Our Chart Raider story, those sunglasses tie in a very interesting way. So this is something really cool because this is our equipment in the game, almost as if you have a World of Warcraft loadout. This is our loadout. Different pieces of sunglasses that give you different bonuses and benefits. So you can see here that that's the way in which it affects. And you can see equipping items like, there you go, last little second there. You can equip that item and you get that benefit from that item, and it changes your entire your entire interaction with the game. In-game, these are in-game bonuses and benefits, right? So then you can build your character how you want. You can emphasize your trading style, what you like, right? So they have a large impact on your trading because these are giving you advantages in the match that's going to, maybe instead of third place, you finish second. And when you're talking about that, you're talking about real money implications. What perks does Commander Avatar have? Avatars don't have perks. They're cosmetic. But again, you definitely want to have that flex to have different forms of cosmetics on your profile, because if you start to look at, go back to this for a second. If you start to look at it, you have your avatars on the left, you have your avatars up in the top. Every time you hit the tab key in game, we have a leaderboard that comes up. Like, your avatars show everywhere. So like, it's important to have that visual identity, right? It would be possible to see a match of someone specific. No, you will not be able to see a match of someone specific, Justin AS, unless it's a premier match that we're highlighting as part of our esports initiative, you will not be able to see that because that could lead to potential collusion. Even if there's a delay, you could have possible collusion. So we don't allow match specific. However, we may in the future add, well, we can easily add replays so people can look at replays and study their opponents and study the way people do things. So we can easily add replays to our ecosystem, but we're also going to be rolling out a huge esports initiative in year 2. So for 2025, we're going to have esports teams. We're going to be putting a lot of effort and focus into creating different events, organizations. We're going to have teams. We're going to have team owners. We're going to be expanding our esports scene in a big way. In our offices, we're going to have media rooms with coverage. We're going to have professional broadcasters, green screens, audio equipment, hosting matches, things like that. And, then we'll look for global adaptation over the long term for that. And to really allow people who are in the Chart Raiders ecosystem to start creating those teams and to start being able to make a different type of career, because maybe you want to be a coach of a team. Maybe you want to be an all-star player. Maybe you want to be like Simple or Shroud or Kenny S, and you want to be this crazy player who's respected around the world. But maybe you want to be somebody like, I can't remember his name. He was an ex-pro who turned into a coach. Oh, I watch him on Twitch. But anyways, not Tarek, but oh God, I can't remember his name. Yeah, and so like there's a lot of different things there that are going to come through on the esports scene, right? Chart Raiders revenue system insane. Both users and the company benefit from it. If the company takes 0.5% of a ticket and 100 users, then it's all self-sustaining. Absolutely, it is green. And this is important because we put tons of resources, even to host the matches, it costs us money. So it's a really great way to, like, when you start talking about 0% liquidation rates, a true 1-to-1%, 0% fees and a true 1-to-1 liquidation rate, like you don't get liquidated on trade. We have no interest in liquidating traders. This is not an exchange where we get a benefit when traders get liquidated. If you trade on Binance or Mexi or BitGet or KuCoin or Kraken or any of these things, the exchange directly gets benefited from liquidations because that pays their investors, and their investors have to hit a certain quota every year. So we have no interest in seeing people liquidate. We actually build systems to help people stay in trades longer, to be able to stay in matches longer. We build so we don't build systems that take from users. My core philosophy is we build systems that give to users, that let them stay in matches longer, that gives them better fighting chances, that allows them to be better equipped to make good decisions. So we create aids and benefits and systems that truly, at the core of it, grant our users further abilities to trade for longer. So everything we build in Chart Raiders is to benefit users, not the other way around, which it's done right now, where everything is built to gain users and give them just enough to keep wanting, but to always be taking from them. We have no interest in that. We collect a fee on every match and that's it. And our hands are off, and we build and take that money to build aids for our traders. So this is a very different approach as to what it looks like in the industry, right? Chart Raiders will be worth billions. Hope so. I'm working hard at it, man. Exchanges must be pooping their pants now. I think once we get closer, and like, you guys have to understand something. So we have a Chart Raiders, and I'm going to show this on screen so people know it's not doctored. We have a Chart Raiders log where we see how many users we have. So actually, oh my God, of course it's annoying. If I get to the bottom here, you guys can see how many visitors we actually have had on Chart Raiders since December, and we're at 1,079,790. We're over 1 million views on Chart Raiders. We have more views than most video games get. Since December, we've garnished almost 1.1 million views in a small community with no marketing. This is how big Chart Raiders is going to be, is insane. Imagine when this actually comes out and people are playing it and people are streaming on Twitch. This will break the exchanges. Because to be at almost 1.1 million views since December on a product that's alpha launched with extremely limited access, no marketing, and only put to a community of somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 people, can't explain it. And you can go and scrub through this and you can see, like, this isn't fake. Like, it's every single user from the beginning of time. Like, you could just sit here and infinitely scroll. See what I mean? And then look, you're still in the 1.7. Like, who even get to one? 663, right? We just sit here and hold the button. Like, so this is insane how many, 613. So the amount of people waiting for this thing, it's quite shocking. It's quite shocking. So like, I think it's very important for people to snag a pre-order because they are limited. I'm telling people right now, they are limited. Like, we only have 100 of the largest pre-order spots, and that contains 3 legendary cases with extremely valuable items that are completely random. You might get the best items in the game for that, and you're going to get them at a fraction of the price. You're also going to get Chart Raiders book. Like, people can go on the pre-order page and they can see that for themselves. But what I will say is those are going to be limited because we don't have space for everybody. Our servers can only handle so much before we turn them on full load. And we need to be able to balance in our testing phases. So there's this really, really finite period right now where if Chart Raiders pops, it changes the industry. People who get in on the beta right now, who have that head start, will constantly and forever be ahead, because when everybody else is on month 2 of learning, they're going to be on month 6. They're going to be in a different level of playing. So this is, I can't communicate this to my audience enough. Like, this pre-order is very valuable. Do not miss it, because it's not like you're pre-ordering a game and it's like, oh, cool, I get these bonuses, but I could really just wait for the game to come out. You can still wait for the game to come out, but the advantage you get converts into real life money. It converts into winning first places. So if you buy a $100 ticket and you get first place 2 times a day and you leave that day with $6,000 or $7,000 profit, that's the benefit you're getting. And that's one day. What happens when you start scaling up and going into tickets that are $1,000 and you make $30K for a first place? And you can do that a few times a day for one day and you feel good. And you do day 2, maybe you get another first place. Maybe day 3, nothing. Day 4, you get another first place. Maybe day 5, you go on some crazy heater. Your average is like getting a first place a day. How much money that turns into over time? You know how disgusting that is? If these were $1,000 tickets, maybe you even have a heater of a day and you're streaming and you're just juiced out of your mind. You're on some sick run. You've got 5 first places. You're on $1,000 tickets. You're starting to talk about like making 6 figures a day. So like, don't sleep on the pre-order is what I'm trying to tell everybody, because this is real. How many trades can you take in a match? As many as you want. No, take 1,000 if you want. You want to sit there and spam. We have 0% fees and a 1-to-1 liquidation rate. There's no reason why you can't take 21% trades and have a total of 20%. We don't have fees. We don't have skewed liquidation rates. It's perfect. Yeah, there's no limit to how many trades you can take. You take as many trades as you want. Well, you could. You can take market orders at 0%. You can take limit orders at 0%. The only difference there is a market order gives you half of the action bar of what a limit order gets you. So limit orders are rewarded, and we might tune that a bit. I think it should be more like a quarter, because market orders are so powerful. I think you should be rewarded greatly for a limit order, but we reward people with action bar, and then action bar gives you different benefits in the match, which may skew your results, or you may be able to take prize bag, things like that. So, you can just market order, exit the trade 2 seconds later, you made 1%. It's a true 1%. You're at 101%. Now you might just click open, close, open, close, open, close. Like, you might spam orders like it's going out of style. You might take 15 orders in 1 minute because you're taking a trade every 2 seconds. You're like, open, went up 2%, close. That might be your strategy. Why do you have to pay fees for that? Why should you be punished? That's your strategy. It's all about make the percentage, baby. Make it. Who gives a shit how you do it, right? And then you build your character around that. You build to have, if you want to be a crazy swing trader, we have items that reward the more trades you take. We have items that start rolling benefits, almost like a rogue class in World of Warcraft, where you're constantly building up like your combo meters. So we have benefits. One is listed in the trailer, maximum 30%, get a bonus 2% per trade on every trade you take, right? So you get 2% bonus on every trade you take. And if you're spamming trades and they're all good trades, like all of a sudden you have plus 10%. You know what I mean? So like, there's ways in which you can build your character to suit the way you want to trade, right? Trailer is a banger. Music is crazy too. That's awesome. For squad and duo matchmaking, you need to enter with a full group, or can you be paired? So duos 2, squad is 3+. So for squad, you can do 3 or 4. And for duos, it's 2, and solos is 1. So there's any configuration of matches you want to get from 1 to 4 people. So and you asked also, is it also trading BTC or is it any currency? Right now, we're employing just BTC, but we're already working on Forex, commodities, and stocks as well. And then you'll have an option to pick which kind of match you want to go into. So if you want to go into a Forex match, it'll be all Forex players. If you want to go into a commodities match, it would be all commodities players. How do you gain these items that help your strategy? You get them in cases. Can you get crates with RAID F? Yep, you can get crates with RAID F. Yeah, you absolutely can. Our in-game currency that we have allows you to spend it on anything but tickets, like anything but like real money items. So you want to buy cases, you want to use skill tree, anything you want. Officially a pirateer? Yes, hell yes. Yeah, we'll send access through email. We're going to be sending emails next week, just confirming everybody's pre-order. Yeah, skill tree be in continual development. A skill tree is in continuous development. So if I go here and I take you guys to our skill tree here, you can see that right now, this is where skill tree's at. So we're already adding more lessons, and there's going to be a bunch added as well. Like I really shouldn't show you guys that. That's developer files. But yes, the skill tree, there's more lessons coming out on launch. We're continuing to make it. There's a ton of stuff. And right now it's only Bitcoin that can be traded. Can you share some of the abilities of legendary items? Yeah, I can. I'll take this off screen. I'll bring up the list. Let me get to... What kind of legendary item? I could do 2 or 3. I'll do like, okay, you know what? I'll do like 1 or 2, and then I'll make another video going over some of these, or maybe even all of them. So let's do one that's like a healer type of class with trade elixir. Okay, so this one here is... Okay, so this is like a healer class almost. So like we have trade elixirs in the game, which is kind of think of it like a potion, okay? Left green lens. When you use a potion, grant 2 bonus trade delay seconds and 30% more peak meter for 20 minutes. So you activate self bonuses in the match when you use a trade elixir. So that's like a healer type, because all these are kind of modeled in a way to represent like, how do you tank things? How do you have like a DPS class? How do you have a healer class? How do you have a support class? So we have like this very elaborate system that I've created to do that. So let's find one more. What do you guys want? Like a DPS? I'll give you one of each. You know what? I'll give you one of each. That's a healer class. And there's about 9 classes that I've identified, just so people know. So there's a brevity of items and different configurations. So there's about 9 classes that I've kind of modeled off of, everything from like a necromancer to an engineer to a rogue combo DPS to a ranger to a sork to healers to paladins to tanks, berserkers. I've modeled, actually it's more than 9, it's 15 classes. I've modeled many different configurations to have the scalability of this to be adaptable for the future, because we'll always be adding items. And then when we add a new class type, when we add a new archetype of item, it'll be very interesting, because then it'll change everything. You add one class archetype, all of a sudden the entire game changes, strategies change, everything changes, because now the meta shifted, right? So, okay, let me read one of the tank legendaries. Oh, this one's fun. This one's really fun. This is a left lens type. Get plus 2% profits for every 1% your trade delay executes in the negative. So I'm going to write that in chat, okay? I'm going to put that in our chat, in open chat, because this chat is getting too flooded. So I'm just going to go to open chat, and I'm going to put it here. So get 2% profits for every 1% your trade delay executes in the negative. So this is very much like a tanking thing. Like you take a trade on purpose that might be the highest level for your team. Now, see, this has solo implications. This is where it gets so neat. This has solo implications. This has team implications. In a team game, you want to work on team profits. What does that pool look like together by the end? Because the team with the most profits win. So this now in a team setting acts as, I want to take the highest level. If I have an hourly, a 15, a 5 minute, a 1 minute, all these combo levels, everything. If I have the highest level, let me take the highest level and tank this. So you get plus 2% for every 1% your trade executes in the negative. So if your trade goes down 15% and you take that trade, you're minus 15%. But if it climbs back up into profits, now all of a sudden you have a massive boost, because your purpose was to tank all that damage on that trade, right? Your purpose was to say, I'm going to take this trade higher, try to activate some crazy trade delay, right? And then if it crawls back up, and remember, this has got to be timed and executed perfectly, because you only have 5 seconds of trade delay, right? Or no, sorry, not Yeah, sorry, trade delay. I'm thinking peak meter, trade delay at the same time. You only have 5 seconds of trade delay. So you have to not only have 5 seconds to execute your trade, but you have to accept that trade. So say you use the full 5 seconds, this thing drops 20%. You use your trade delay. You say, okay, I think this is about to reverse. I'm taking this trade. I'm negative 20%. And I think it's going to crawl back out. Now you've tanked all that damage. If that trade starts to crawl back up, as soon as it gets to 1%, you're actually at 41% profits. So it's kind of like this, almost like this really tough payoff. You're tanking damage, but if you execute that trade in the negative and it crawls back into the positive, you tanked all that damage and you got massively rewarded for it, right? So it's almost like the idea of being able to tank a trade, right? So that's one from... And that has different implications on your team than it does solo, because in a team setting, what's going to happen is you're going to want to use this. In a solo setting, it's got to be more strategic. You might take less risk because you don't have any backup, right? You don't have 3 other players or a squad or a duo teammate who's sitting there and also offsetting some of your risk with like really safe positions, right? And then so let's do a DPS one. That's a tank one. Here's like more of a DPS one that's also kind of tied to position trading. Get plus 2% bonus profits for each minute that goes by without entering a trade, and a maximum of 30%. So if you're more of like a position trader waiting, you have kind of this timer, and I'll put this one in open chat too. You have kind of this timer that's going down. Like you're sitting there waiting for the perfect trade, and everybody else is taking trades and climbing the leaderboards, and you're more like, you know what, I'm more of a like a swing or a position trader, because this could be a swing or a position trade type of class. Like I'm more of a position trader, so you're timing the perfect trades and you're getting rewarded by waiting. See what I mean? So yeah, there's some really, and this is just 2 of many items. This is this is really exciting. Any news on the exchange, not the game? We will not have an exchange. I have no interest in having a trading exchange. The game will be our exchange. We don't need an exchange to run this. You're not holding any tokens. We're not holding assets like that. We don't need it. We don't need an exchange to do what we're doing. So we will literally stay away from it. Infinite trades, doesn't that make scalp traders OP? Not necessarily, because there's items that benefit other classes and there's class benefits. And the matches are only an hour long. So it's about performing the best you can and trading the way you like. For duos or quads, is the 100 groups or 50-25? 50-25. You could have 30 groups in the quads, because you could have teams of 3. PC requirements we're going to release in the future. That's on the pre-order page. We talk about it a bit. I really like the idea of teams with individuals having different risk-based trade responsibilities. Yep. The game is with real-time data. We refresh every 5 milliseconds. So it's absolutely like real-time. We have hundreds of pingbacks per second. There's no section that shows all the items. No, there's no section that shows all the items. Let me check open chat real quick. To pay for a pre-order with Raidcoin, we're accepting Raidcoin, and the benefit, as a thank you to our Raidcoin supporters, we're also giving 10% off pre-orders. So you can DM me to set that up and or message Sean. But we are getting between Sean and I, we coordinate that. So if you have Raidcoin, I would suggest using it on the pre-order if you want, because you get a 10% discount. It's just our way of saying thank you to people. And there's no way to buy Raidcoin to get that discount at this time right now. And how can you pay all these bounties without an exchange? What do you mean? We collect money on each match. How can you pay all these bonuses? So it's the prize pool. You're competing for a prize pool. You're not, if you make $1,000 in a match, if you bought a $10 ticket, okay, for example, if you bought a $10 ticket and you made $10,000 in an hour, you're not getting $10,000, you're getting the first place prize. The first place prize, I posted you can go take a look in here actually. I did this a few days ago, the percentage pool, like you can look at my screen right now, and it's something close to this. So if you bought a $10 ticket and you made first place, you'd get $290 because you're getting 29% of the prize pool of 100 people paying $10 tickets. So it would be $1,000 prize pool, and you would leave that match with 290%. $290, which is 29% of the entire prize pool, which is substantially more than you could ever make trading just face to face. You could never make 290% in an hour. It's not possible. $290, sorry. That would be the equivalent of taking a 100x trade and making 29% in a move. So that would be the equivalent of Bitcoin moving 29% on 100x in 1 hour. Yeah, $100 ticket, you make $2,900 for first place. Imagine how long it takes. And this is one of the things I really love about this system. Imagine how long it takes if you bought $100 of Bitcoin or USDT, whatever. Just you have $100 and you go and trade it. If you even doubled your account, you'd make $200. So even if you made a full 100%, you'd make $100 profit, which is pretty good, because if you made 100% profit day after day, you'd be a millionaire, right? Like, you'd be rich after a while. That's the equivalent to one buy-in. So first place is doing that 29 times in an hour. So that would be the equivalent of getting 29% trade on 100x, realizing 2,900% profits. Yes, Kev. So we provide 1099s and we provide WG2s to every user. So we absolutely do that. It's part of our legal mandate. Our legal rules and laws around this are massive. I work with securities lawyers to ensure that we have everything from WG2s, 1099s. A massive amount of compliance goes into this so that we have worldwide accessibility, which is critically important. We have everything from game rules to terms and conditions to privacy policies to intellectual property rights to a bill of rights to, God, the list goes on, to ticket system support pages, the ability to opt in and out of data, our legal conditions. Again, I said this already, the rules of the game. We have responsible trading act and videos. We have, God, the list just goes on. Our Bill of Rights is really cool. So we have a massive amount of compliance, and we absolutely follow all rules, including giving out those to every single user, that 1099 and WG2 at any time, just accessible on their account panels. Yes. Yes, Asku, you have to enter tournaments to trade on the platform. When will the test phase come? Will we be able to test the game with real money, or is it going to be demo? To be determined, Green. It depends on compliance and legal law. That is to be determined. Increase the profit for every trade is going to happen. Imagine this happens with multiple people. I don't think you understand. There's a prize pool every hour. If there's $1,000, that prize pool is split. It's not about, it doesn't matter what people make in the match. It's about where they finish in a match. The prize pool is $1,000. That's split. That doesn't matter if everybody in the match made $10,000 profit somehow, because it's just like, I don't know, maybe Bitcoin went to $1 million overnight. Maybe everybody bought Bitcoin right now. There's 100 people in a match. Maybe everybody bought Bitcoin this minute, and then 5 minutes later, Bitcoin is at $1 million, and everybody's like, wow, I bought a $10 ticket and I just made $50,000. They're not getting $50,000. They're getting whatever the placement they end up in. Yeah. Every hour for each ticket rank, it sounds. So this is instance-based. A match runs every time the queue is full. You could have 30 matches going every hour all day long. You could have, it's not waiting every hour for a match. It's instance-based. So you queue up. We have a queue timer. As soon as 100 people enter a match, chart raiders might be so popular that there's a match that runs every 2 minutes. You enter a match, you run it, good. A new match comes, next minute somebody queues, that's full, instant, done. It's instance-based. So we have the ability to run thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of instances at once. So if it's so popular that there's constantly people queuing, yeah, you'll get into matches all the time. It's real price. Yes, Green, it's real price. Second to second. So like we have our paying back rate is like 5 milliseconds. So we're updating literally hundreds of times a second, our charts are updating, which give us true one-to-one pixel refresh on our charts, not this weird blocky chunky shit that happens on the current exchanges. The limitations, this is the benefits. This is one of many of the benefits from being able to have something like Raid Engine at the core of this, because I've spent with the team countless time, money, hours, and development manpower to make sure that Raid Engine is the core of this. It also increases anti-cheat measures. It also doesn't allow players to collude. It also allows us to have game masters that are watching matches. It allows us to flag people who have suspicious activity. It allows us to withhold payments on people we suspect who are cheaters. So anti-cheat and collusion is very real and is at the heart of this. And the entire software has been built and engineered and architected from a software architecture standpoint and a logic flow standpoint. It has been built to not allow cheating. You can't adjust system files. You are not allowed to alter inputs or outputs of data. And because we're using Raid Engine, these things are all possible because this is a separate piece of technology that we have built. Instead of shortcutting it and just making an exchange that relays visual data, stuff like that gets hacked. Chart Raiders is not hackable. It's not hackable because of the way we've built the architecture. And because we have Raid Engine behind it, it's true one-to-one records. And we have game masters that watch, right? Someone's cheating, they're out of the match. Even if the match ends, so think this is cool. Even if the match ends and we found they cheated a few days later, that money is removed from them and distributed back into the players who were in that match. So if you were unfortunate enough to be with a cheater because somebody figured something out, that money gets redistributed back to you because of things like Raid Engine. So Raid Engine is an incredible resource for this. So we can make strategies before entering a match on our charts. That sounds amazing. Absolutely. Everything from team strategies to what does your team composition look like to who's using what items. Do you have all swing class traders? Do you have like 3 scalp classes and 1 position class because that's the way you've lined up your items to work together? Do you have a coach? It's infinite. The meta in this has been built to be infinite and figured out and cracked and pushed by the slightest of angles. I've taken the approach of what Counter-Strike looks like. If you know how to bunny hop in Counter-Strike and it allows you to get posted up on a peak corner, even a quarter of a second faster than your opponent, because you have movement meta so mastered with your keyboard that gives you a major advantage over that player. That's how this has been built, to have an absolute meta push at every level, and it will constantly be adapting. So we've built in the drawing tools that we use into the charts, into the charting system. We've built in the charting tools that we like in our community, if that makes sense. Levels, trends, the shapes, measurement tool, and that's a good part of most of it. Replay, that's most of it. We don't get into the indicators. We don't allow that. There's no point for us. We have about 10 tools we have, and that's it. That's it. I could go look at the exact list actually. Circle, square, triangle, and paint. So there's 4. Measure tool, that's 5. Replay, that's 6. Trend and level, that's 7, 8. That's it. That's it. The site is down now. It's possible. It could be getting hit by like how many people? It's very possible that it's down. I'm pretty sure the site's going to be popped the hell off today. If it's down, it might be just down on in your region. It's up for me. I'm looking at it right now. And there's so much more you guys haven't seen about the trailer, by the way. You guys have looked at like one minuscule piece. Let's do this. Let's pull up the trailer on my screen, and I'm going to pick out a few things. All of this for cool. So let's go to the skill tree. Let's talk about skill tree for a second. Skill tree, show friends. Now we have the ability to see where your friends are at in the skill tree. We don't show it in the trailer, but we have this big system built up on showing your friends and then seeing what their information looks like. So let me actually bring up the skill tree from the developer files here and just kind of show an example of what it looks like to see friends. So, for example, Now you have show friends clicked and you have a friend selected. It will show their progress on the skill tree, gray out everything else, show their things like MMR, their chart doctor rank, their title, their percentage complete, stuff like that. So now we can see friends. We can also now zoom in and out on the skill tree. So we have the ability to fully zoom on the skill tree. So you can zoom, move around. Oh, don't want to show that. That's a feature for the future. You can ask Scambot, our AI, right? Oh, look at this. Friends complete, friends incomplete, community incomplete, progress, right? A lot of like little quality of life features added. Ask Scambot a question. How can I help you? What is a hold level? It'll tell you, right? Trade with your friends. I'm just going to pick up a few of the features I like here. You know, making your teams, right? Like assembling your team. Bounty, profiles, objectives, races, raids. If you notice up there, there's 2 more categories, races and raids. So we have raids, we have races. Trade delay is just so fucking next level. So the user has entered the trade here. Let's take a look at this. User enters a trade here. You can see how much trade delay they have left. This is what we call a multiplier. We can get into that later. So you can see how much trade delay they have left, and you can see the kind of the profits where they're at. Dodge a bad loss. So like you can see, they've got 7 seconds left. If they were to exit this trade, even though they entered on this purple line up here, you can see that if they exited that trade, it's as if the trade never existed. They don't lose that $12, right? So you can use your trade delay to do things like this, take profits, take trades, take risks. Very valuable resource, that trade delay, right? So imagine where you can have a trade and you don't have to execute it as if it never existed, as if you never entered it, and you have that resource available to you, right? But it's a very limited resource, so be careful with it in matches. It's your emergency card. Maybe you want to build your character to have more emergency cards in the match. Maybe you want to build your character to have more trade delay because you love taking those risks. Well, that's up to you now. I guess you have a strategy and a team that you can. Maybe one player is all peak meter, so they coordinate. Maybe you have a team of 4, and you're like a professional team, and one player is all built for peak meter. So they're constantly looking at charts, and their job is not to actually make profits. They'll take profits when possible, but their job is maybe like a coach almost. They're a coach role inside the match with a ton of peak meters. So they built their character to have tons of peak meter, and that's it, nothing else. And so they're almost like a support role in a way. And maybe they even be like peak meter plus a healer plus trade elixirs. Maybe it's a hybrid role. Maybe it's just straight up peak meter. And their job is not to take a ton of trades so that somebody can build out their character to have tons of trade delay. And so they can start cranking out trades with trade delay. And maybe that's a tank role that has benefits for using trade delay. Right? And then you can wipe this trade off as it never. So this is, you can wipe it off as if it never existed. So this just opens up so much strategy. And you can see as I hit play here, the timer's running down and you're climbing back up in the trade. Anytime you just save your 7.3 seconds of trade delay, or you keep holding to see what happens, right? Action bar for reloads, multipliers that grant you bonuses. These are cool. So every time you trade, you fill up your action bar, and then you get a bonus when it's full. An in-match bonus that can be anything from claim 3% of the prize pool, like 3% of the prize bag. Maybe you finished dead last, got a lucky action bar, claimed 3% of the prize pool, actually left with 3 times the amount you entered. So you had a $10 ticket, smoked your account, got your action bar filled once, luckily hit a really rare roll on the action bar meter, which is get 3% of the action bar or of the prize pool, finished dead last, and you still left with the 200% profits. So this is really cool because there's a whole list of different benefits and bonuses. Every time that action bar fills, you get one. You could build your character to come just to go after straight up action bars. You might have almost no trade delay, almost no peak meter, nothing for trade elixirs, and you might have built it all for action bar. And your goal is to just enter trades to fill that action bar to see if you can have team benefits, because there's a lot of team benefits in the action bar too. So that could be another coach or supporting role, right? Multipliers are something that stack and they give you bonuses. So every consecutive good trade you get in a row, it goes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You get 10 good trades in a row. All of a sudden you have these other bonuses that actually, if you look at the trailer here, you can see, let's try to find a spot where you can actually see it. Yeah, right here. So you can see down here how you could have active bonuses. It's kind of grayed out, so people can't really see, but you could have these rolling bonuses that you hover over, And it's like, oh, cool. Let me show one. Let me show just one from our developer files. So here, for example, current multiplier, your next trade has 4 bonus% profits. Active bonus, peak meter fills up 20% faster. So some of these are action bar, some of these are peak meter, right? So really cool because you have all of a sudden these tool tips that you can hover over in the match to get that, right? So just a few of the things I wanted to mention on the trailer. Can we get skill tree progress just by playing? Well, you can level up and you get raid F, which is raid fragments, which is what you can use to buy skill tree points. So yes. Talk more about bounties. Have an objective. There's dailies, there's weeklies, there's monthlies. You have an objective, you fill it, you get rewards. Everything from cases to raid F to account titles. They could be as rare as avatars that are earn-only avatars and can never be found in cases, or they can be as common as 1 raid F and you need 5 raid F to buy a case. Or it could be something big like 25 raid F. It's like 5 cases for completing this bigger bounty. And the bounties are in-game things. Like the list of bounties, for example, if I just go and give an example of the list of bounties, give me 1 second here. Like one of the bounties is equip 1 legendary item. Another bounty is complete 35% of the skill tree. Another bounty is finish top 3 in a match. Another one is finish, another harder one to get is finish first place in a match 25 times. That one gives you a title. Where's some other ones here? Get to a 5x multiplier in the first 15 minutes of a match 5 times. So you have to get 5 successful consecutive trades 5 times. So they can be as simple as getting the top 3 one time, or as complex that would take you maybe a month to earn. Like get a 5x multiplier in the first 15 minutes of a match. Do that 5 times. Those are bigger rewards, right? With bigger things. Maybe that one gives you 50 raid F, and that's like 10 cases. Yep, you can absolutely see the people you're playing against, Alex. You simply hit the tab key or whatever hotkey we decide that at, and people can change that in their option menus, how they like their hotkey, and it'll bring up a screen like so. Let me find it here. It can bring up a screen like so, where it's just, it shows you, and look, 9th place, Skulldog is there, and that's his bankroll, right? He hasn't taken any trades yet. He's still at $100. Oh, he has 1 item equipped. He's taken 0 trades, 0% accuracy. He's still at $100. Only 1 hour forever? No, you can, we are going to experiment with different match sizes. We are going to experiment with different match lengths. So we may do more like hardcore matches, for example. So there might be a prize pool where it's 60% for first place. There's only 20 or 15 people in a match, and it might be like a hardcore core mode. Or we might do something bigger where it's 500 people in a match and the prize pools are much smaller but divided more evenly. Like we'll experiment as time goes on with match prices. Yeah. How's it going to be balanced if a team is full of bonuses and items for extra things and play with other teams that have nothing? The same way that it's balanced in World of Warcraft if you go up against a level 1 player who has no gear and you're a level 99 with item level 700. Same exact thing. You want to be powerful, grind for it. We are not looking to pat everybody on the back. This is a hardcore experience for people who take trading seriously and grind every day. We don't pat people on the back for being brand new. This isn't kindergarten. If you have no items and you're a brand new player with nothing, don't expect to be sitting there saying like, oh, I'm super powerful. That's not realistic thinking, right? So we don't, this is not a system that we give fairness trophies. This is a system that says, are you intelligent? Yes or no? Yes, you'll make money. You don't need items to do that. But if you want to elaborate on that experience and you want to extrapolate more and make your character even more capable and even better and stronger, then go and grind for it. Go and play dozens of matches. Go and play 1,000 matches and earn rate F. And if you don't want to play the 1,000 matches, you don't want to do the grind, go buy cases. Go buy cases if you're impatient. You know what I mean? So I don't believe in patting people on the back for attempting. I reward intelligence and I reward ambition and perseverance. Those are the things. Those are the key qualities that I feel like should be rewarded. People who grind, who have the ambition and the perseverance to do it day after day after day, years and months of your life, and who take the stance of intelligence and work on their mindset. Those are who gets rewarded. How long will pre-sale be up until it's sold out? Might be gone today. I don't know. It's just however good it does. No, you can't use RateF for buying Ratecoin. It's like Missions Quest. Yep. How much percent profit counts as a successful trade? So that's something we need to consider in the balance section when we do the beta testing. We need to see, is it 5%? Is it 10%? Is it class dependent? Does a scalp class need more percentage to consider it something that would trigger you getting a multiplier? Like, can 1% trigger a multiplier? No. Could 10%? Yeah. Could 5%? Might be too small. Maybe it's 6%. That's all a part of our balancing, right? So Sean is saying 0.01%. And while that is true, it depends on the context of the question you're asking. Like, are you asking it in terms of multipliers? Like, at what point do you trigger getting a multiplier? Right? So that's a balance thing that we have to figure out. To fill the action bar, that's equatable to the size of the trade. So you could still fill the action bar of 0.01%, but it's not like it's a static number. Like, oh, every time you get a successful trade, it's 20%. It's based on the percentages, right? So we've taken a stance that people can't really abuse the system and break it. We've taken a stance where you can't really just sit there and spam your buttons to just smash through multipliers. And if you take a bad trade, you lose your multipliers, by the way. You could be at a 9x multiplier, and if you take a bad trade, you lose it. It's all gone. You're back to zero. So be very careful. Can you go into the detail about benefits? I pre-ordered the supporter. Let me go take a look on the page. So that's 25 raid F. You get a title, Pirateer, and you get test access. So the 25 raid F is equivalent to opening 20 or so cases, or 25 cases or so. A title that's not accessible anywhere else. This is a pre-order title only, and then you get test access as well. The backer gives you all the same things as supporter does, plus 100 raid F. So like you get 100 total. So you get an additional 75, and you get one legendary chest that guarantees you get a legendary item, as well as the commander avatar. So that legendary item is extremely valuable because our drop rates are 1 in 700 on legendaries. So you'd have to buy 700 cases at $5 each. So that's what, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. $3,500 to get one legendary is about the equatable value. Now, you could also roll no legendaries in that 700 cases, or you could roll 5 legendaries in that 700 cases. But our drop rate for legendaries is 1 in 700. So yeah, you get a legendary chest, you get the commander avatar, and you cannot get legendary chests outside of pre-order, by the way, just so people know. Legendary chests are a pre-order only. You cannot earn them, and we might bring them back one day for a very special limited event. But I'm talking about, this is a global raid that's accessible to 100,000 people. And there might be 10 legendary chests to split between 100,000 people. So the top 10 would only get one legendary chest. This is not something that, legendary items in this game are extremely valuable and very rare. So like the backer and collector tiers are beyond valuable. You cannot trade items. They're unique to accounts with no token ability to them. That opens a door to too much things like collusion and stuff like that. And we don't want to get into marketplaces and things like that. They're account specific and account bound for life. Am I a little crazy? But all that I'm hearing is so crazy. I can't imagine all the work. I've been literally working on this for 7 days a week, anywhere from 10 to 16 hours a day for 3+ years straight. So yeah, like I hope people are shocked, because this is trading like people have never seen it. So You can upgrade if you want Tempest. You have to reach out to our team. Basically what you'd have to do is you'd have to pre-order the next piece, and then we'd have to refund your original pre-order and just upgrade you. But you can Tempest. You can upgrade. It just takes a little bit of legwork. So yeah, we have put I myself, as well as Sean and the whole team, has put an unfathomable amount of work. Like, imagine having, from my perspective, this all came from me. Everything I've designed in Chart Raiders is from me. So imagine having all of this in your brain and spending years to figure it out and put it on paper. It's almost like as if you're theory crafting a board game. Like, I used to do this when I was younger. A pure nerd moment. Don't judge me. Fuck you all. Pure nerd moment. I used to like make up board games when I was younger. I would go and I'd play like Dungeons and Dragons or like Siege or anything. And I would like take pen and paper and I would like make up my own board games. Nobody would ever play them, but I found it so fun to go and get like sheets and sheets of paper and just draw things and make rules and all this. So like, imagine for years, this has all existed in my head, and I've had to design and do all the work to put it on paper and figure all these pieces out, and items and classes and bonuses and systems and things like peak meter and trade. It's all existed in my brain for years. And I've sat here meticulously designing and thinking and just strategizing and being like, what do I like? What's cool? Let me take cues from my favorite MMOs. Let me take cues from my favorite first-person shooters. Let me take cues from my favorite board games. How can I design something so fucking cool it will kill day trading and break it? So like, it's been a lot of work, man. I've probably lost 10 years of life due to the stress. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a lot of work, but like, I hope just people see the vision, and I think this changes trading forever if it's successful. Super excited. I think we might all be a bit nerdy or artistic to be here. Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. Matches will be played on BTC charts. Yes, Americano. And we will be integrating Forex as well as commodities, as well as stocks in the future. But we need to just start with one so we don't overextend. You know, this is a product of love that I've self-funded, and I have no investors. I've self-funded millions of dollars to make this happen. And we don't have, you know, $10 million on things like marketing that we can do. We don't have, if we fuck something up, it's all gone. You know what I mean? And I've bankrolled and backed this entire project by myself. So like, if something gets fucked up, it's all gone, and it's all for nothing. Years and millions of dollars of my money and time wasted for what? And I also stopped my career on YouTube. I also stopped my career as a social media person for all of this for years. Like, I knew that I would have to. I knew that my growth would be instantly impacted. So I gave up the ability to be, you know, someone who's extremely well off in a social media sense, millions of viewers, etc. I gave that up to just push on this, because it's not only the money and the hours that I lost, it's the potential for a brand that I grew ultra fast and became one of the most respected traders in the world. So I gave that up to pursue this. So the sacrifice that's been made for Chart Raiders is monumental. So like, I really want to put stocks, commodities, and Forex in from zero, but I have to make sure that this system is stable, and I don't want to make the mistakes that other gaming companies do, where they overreach and underdeliver. I want to be able to deliver the most groundbreaking product. And then when we have updates, when we go into, you know, if this releases in fall, right after Christmas, maybe we might introduce Forex. And we have the ability to do that in a balanced way that makes sense for everything, because we have such a finite system to uphold. Like, when we launch the Chart Raiders office, I'm going to be hiring teams and teams of people and working with them on a daily basis to do everything from thinking of new items to theory crafting to balancing these things to testing them, game masters who can watch. Like, our balance and our raid engine is our biggest job. Our game balance and raid engine is going to be a whole fully fledged team of just devote Chart Raider employees who just constantly sit there and strategize and think, and then I'll oversee it and make sure everything like makes sense and jives well. You know what I mean? The matches will play Cotton is a Machine, which doesn't stop. Yeah, I haven't stopped. Like, Sean has seen it for years now, and he's been there right by my side the whole time, working just as hard. So props to him, because it's a joint effort, you know? Like, yes, I headman this, and yes, it's all me at the back end, but like, Sean has been here since day one, and because of that, he's earned himself the right to be an executive in the company and right there at the top with me. you know, that right is earned, not given. Everything you do make us better traders. I just hope people understand why I've been in such a hiatus for so many years, because I know people have wanted content. I know people have been a bit segregated in this community into things like mentorship and exclusive tier and open chat. We've lost a lot of good members over the years, and we've lost a lot of devout people, but I really hope people can understand now why I had to take so much time away and why I had to kind of not disappear, but segregate my time into things that could help development, like mentorship. It was never to paywall things. It was to say, like, look, I need money for development, and I only have limited time, and this is the only way it can be done. So like, for those who have supported, it's been an amazing journey. And why all of a sudden content became a little less in the public eye, not as many streams, not as many videos. This is why, because for literally 12 to 16 hours a day, I wake up, I work on chart raiders, I go to bed. I barely even see my kids, which is heartbreaking for me, but we all make sacrifices. And I think if this sees it through, my original vision of changing this industry and making it better for all of us comes true, which is, it's a legacy I'm building. Like, there's no other way to say it, right? Like, you build a legacy, you make that choice, you make that sacrifice. So this is why, just so people know, this right here, what I'm giving to the world, this is why. And I'm thankful for every single person who stayed through the journey, because now people are going to get rewarded for having trust in me. Is TTO, trade theory optimization? Yeah, so I'm working on that, and I'm kind of split on that. Like, it's such an interesting thought, trade theory optimization. I will put in the skill tree one day. I don't know if it'll be for this launch. That's undecided. I'm not saying no, I'm not saying yes. But I do really love trade theory optimization. I think it's going to be a really groundbreaking piece of meta to add at a layer where all of a sudden we're going to be somewhere in the middle of chart raiders, and matches are going to be going, and there's going to be this beautiful thing. And then one day I'll release trade theory optimization, TTO. And then I think that will also change. Like, there's going to be things, and this is the most exciting part for me, is like the ecosystem of seeing something live. This is the most exciting thing I could ever think of. When you follow a video game, and it's like, just these little changes excite you so much. Like, the reload time on an op was just increased by 100 milliseconds. It sounds like nothing, and you can't even notice it visually, but it just changes everything so much. It's like, now all of a sudden the op sucks. Now all of a sudden it went from an A tier item to a D tier item, until people understand how to use it better. And then it goes from a D tier item to a B tier item. And then something else changes slightly. Like, this is where I really like to release something like TTO, where it just has this really integrated balance act, right? Like, I love that. I love that ability to have so much depth and layers. Like, this thing has layers and depth, and that's what's sustainable. So like, I really like TTO, but there's also like, I wonder if I release it now or in the future. An interesting thought. I don't know, actually. Yeah, very interesting thought. Love everything you created. Can't wait to see the fractal beauty and the charts amplified with gamified art. Yeah, 100%. I'm so excited. You're a different gravy. I do love gravy, especially on poutine. Maybe have enough for backer. Hell yeah, Tempest. Absolutely. I like the idea of waiting for my levels through multiple assets, like a perfect assassin. Will that be able to do on chart raiders? Yeah, absolutely. We have classes and items that do that. And I'm really happy to found you. Really appreciate everything you do. Everything you're doing. Hope this project will be super successful. Yeah, me too. Thank you so much. I'm happy you're here, Americano. Yeah, absolutely. Let me go to the class benefits right now. I'm going to read off the class benefits so people have a little bit of a different insight to what that looks like. Okay, so the scalp class, there's a 20. So if you pick the scalp class, this is your unique benefit. Okay, there's a 25% chance you get a bonus multiplier on trades above 15%. So the scalp class rewards a 15% profit threshold by giving you a 1 in 4 chance or 25% chance to get a bonus multiplier. So all of a sudden, 1 in every 4 trades is going to be like, bang, bang, you just got 2 multipliers. So it really encourages a constant executing of trades right around that 15% mark. And you're not always, it's a 1 in 4 chance, but when it triggers, holy crap. There's also items that trigger when your class benefit triggers. So now you also have a different type of interaction. Now you have hybrid classes like a scalp swing trader who's maybe a healer tank. So now there's items that have class triggers, right? So 1 in 4 chance you might trigger your class trigger, which might change the way you're trading, which all of a sudden you might be trading one way. And when you get that trigger, it kind of puts you into like overdrive mode in a way because your class benefit got triggered. Swing trader is the class benefit is get a multiplier when you recover funds. So now when you help your team, you're now getting a multiplier. So you get benefits for helping. Again, there's class triggers. You help a teammate, maybe it changes the way you play. So maybe you're timing the way in which you help very specifically because you're setting up for some kind of combo of items. The position class is you only lose 1 multiplier when you have a negative trade. That's that class bonus. So instead of if you're at 6 multipliers because it's harder for you to get them because you're taking more specific trades, you only lose 1 multiplier when you have a negative trade. Not all of them. You could be at 7 multipliers, take a bad trade, go down to 6 instead of 0. Again, class trigger benefits puts you into a different mode altogether because there's items that have triggers off class benefits, right? So like there's a way in which the stuff all very intelligently operates together. Excuse me. I'm going to read through open chat a little bit here. I haven't checked open chat. There's probably not too much going on open chat, but I'm going to check anyways. Yeah, not too much. And so we're wrapping up the end of the AMA. I'm going to take one last question. So whoever gets it next, I'll hit that question up. You guys make sure you've missed a lot in the trailer, by the way. There's so much stuff we haven't talked about. Make sure you go watch the trailer again, replay it, pause it, and sit there and look at everything on the screen because there's so much in that trailer. We've mentioned about, I would say a solid 8 or 9 things. There's 25 screenshots. So you guys are missing like 5, 6, 7 key components. And we'll do another AMA as we get closer, and I'm going to start releasing deep dives on each one of these parts of our software. So our e-commerce shop and what that looks like. I'm going to release a deep dive on that. I'm going to release a deep dive on items. I'm going to release a deep dive on the way in which you can execute trades, trade delay, multipliers, different combos you can use. I'm going to start releasing content on a regular basis, and then we can come back and do another AMA, a part 2, a part 3, a part 4. Every couple of weeks. And, we're going to have some announcements coming soon about the software package and how it can be downloaded. Things like PC requirements, things like alpha invites, access, not alpha, beta for those who buy the pre-order. So we're going to have a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline now that Chart Raiders trailer is launched. We're changing that gear of the content machine. And I think we're going to see a big surge in this community. And so just keep in mind, you've got questions, theorize about them, talk about them in open chat. If you have ideas for items, feel free to talk about it. Like we are going to have in the future, community members who we might hire because it's like, oh, they thought of a really cool item and they keep doing it. And this is really cool. Maybe we should hire them in the office, or maybe we should just use that idea. So, take your time, think about items, discuss it as a community, just things you like, anything. It's all open books now. Any idea how long the site will be up? Or today, the site's up all day long. It's up permanently now. You buy tickets through USD. So we do USD, not crypto. We pay out in USD and we collect in USD as well. And that'll be it. That'll be the last question I take. Thank you everybody so much for being here for the first AMA for the Chart Raiders launch. I hope it didn't disappoint, and I hope everybody's excited as I am. And just thank you for the countless support that this community gives, and nothing but love. And we do this journey together, and excited for the future, everybody. Take care and cheers.